we stand at a historic moment for Narragansett Bay, and historic in a couple of couple of key ways. The first is that we are marking this date with the success of the Narragansett Bay Commission's combined sewage overflow system, which was phase one of which was instituted November of last year. This was and is a highly successful, on-time, on-budget delivery of a major investment in wastewater treatment capacity. We're still early in studying the effects of this CSO project, but it's clear that the results are astounding and phenomenally positive for the upper reaches of Narragansett Bay, and will have effects throughout the Bay ecosystem. Despite record rainfalls this year and a very stormy summer season, bacteria counts on Upper Bay beaches are down significantly from previous years. We commend the Bay Commission and Rhode Island DEM for reaching an agreement in recent years on nutrient reductions, and this is particularly important as nitrogen and nutrients in particular, in our view, represent the single greatest threat to estuary health throughout Narragansett Bay and throughout other parts of the world, in fact. The CSO project cost upwards of $200 million, something we advocated strongly for along with many others. The project took over 15 years to complete, and it is paying huge dividends for a healthier, cleaner bay, and that will pay huge dividends for the economy of Rhode Island, which is so dependent on this resource. Most residents of Rhode Island live within a few miles of the bay, and their livelihoods or their quality of life is deeply affected by the resource that we all enjoy. Since the early 80s, we have documented an amazing recovery in water quality in Narragansett Bay through significant investments, state, local, and federal, in clean water infrastructure. And as you mentioned, Senator Whitehouse, sewage loadings are down 70% since the late 80s, and toxic chemicals and metal loadings in the bay are down over 90% since the late 80s. These are phenomenal achievements, but would not have been possible without significant investments in dollars in wastewater infrastructure. The beneficiaries of that are the citizens of the state, not any one group or not any one organization, but all of us who live here and enjoy the resource. Life in upper Narragansett Bay has returned in force, and any of you who spend any time in the water will see stripers, osprey, menhaden, bluefish, oysters, all thriving in the upper bay. And as a kayaker, I can tell you that my commute to our office down the ship channel of the Providence River is a lot more pleasant today than it was 5 or 6 years ago. And I'm grateful for that investment, and all of us who use the resource are grateful. The investment, however, is only in a beginning. We're really at a turning point. Despite the beneficiary effects of the CSO, we have phenomenal and significant and almost, I should say, daunting challenges in other regions of Rhode Island that relate directly to the need for investments in wastewater treatment. Aquidneck Island, South County, Westerly, Warwick, the communities of the East Bay are all suffering from extreme overloading of non-point solution, which is to say failed septic systems, cesspools, and inadequate sewage infrastructure. And that's resulting in beach closings, shellfish bed closings, and an inability of citizens to use this resource. As we know, this summer has been particularly notable for beach closings in Newport, which is the crown jewel of the state as a tourist destination, and has really been shocking the number of days and the amount of time that the prime beaches in Newport have been closed. Some of it is related to the heavy rainfall, but some of it is just simply would have happened anyway, and is a function of the lack of investment in wastewater infrastructure facilities on Aquidneck Island over decades of looking the other way and an inability to come to agreement on what the right solution might be. At the State House, the Rhode Island State House, we have failed over the last 2 general election cycles to convince the General Assembly to place on the ballot a state referendum for a clean water bond. We think this is a major problem for the state. We need to give the voters a chance to speak on behalf of the investment that is required of clean water in the Bay. We intend to work very hard for just such a bond effort in the future. We also know, and we'll hear more about many of the numbers here from my colleagues to my left, the size of the investment here is substantial. We know the total need in Rhode Island is approximately $500 million just through the next 3 years, $500 million of investment, and as you mentioned, Senator Whitehouse, the overall need is substantially greater. The assistance, the Clean Water Finance Agency will make that happen. Most importantly, I guess, is my view that the federal role is absolutely pivotal to help us leverage federal dollars with state and local dollars to secure these investments. And I would ask the committee and your help, Senator Whitehouse, in securing those federal dollars to be sure that we can make these required investments.